Hello, welcome once again to another episode of CasualCraft. Back once again, Renegade Master, your Dreadlock caster, RedRipz, and we're here today on Star Station with a map from last season's ladder. Actually, it's just changed over in the new season. We've actually lost Star Station now, so that's one of the last games we'll probably be seeing on this map for a while. It wasn't the most popular map. Everyone kind of didn't. I mean, look at the main base, for God's sake, it's huge. Yeah, it wasn't the most popular one, but here we are once again on Star Station, another episode of CasualCraft, episode 27 now, actually, of all things, and we're here today for a Master League game. Now, this is a ZVP, and today's brother from another mother, here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map at the 8 o'clock position, maybe 7:30, call it what you like, is the red Zerg player Listerina. Is that like a feminine version of mouthwash Listerine, maybe? I'm not sure. It sounds kind of like that, something like that. I'm not sure where he got his name from. Who honestly cares? Just going to make sure that's recording properly. Yep, as I've just tried to cast this game and totally forgot to turn my mic on, so that was clever of me. Now, meanwhile, in the top right-hand corner, we have today's sister from another mister. In the top right, at the 2 o'clock position, approximately 125, maybe, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It is the blue Protoss player, dipwood. Now, neither player straight away is going for any sort of cheesy crap. We haven't seen any sort of early pools, any early, weirdness going on there out of our Zerg player. And meanwhile, dipwood is actually going to be building his gateway in his main base like a good boy, getting his assimilator down as he should be. All looking very tasty there here. And I think actually, is that going to... No, he's not going for a stupidly early second. He's going to be going for a little scout out across the map here. Now, meanwhile, Listerina's gone hatch first in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. And... yeah, it's pretty safe, really, to be honest, against Protoss, unless he's doing some kind of crazy, like really early kind of pressure or something. There's no real worry of going hatch first. I mean, economy-wise, it's, just as good, really. Why not? I say just as good. It's the best thing you can possibly do is go hatch first on 15, with the pool just behind that now. So we're seeing a really economical build here at Listerina, and I'd imagine, since he's not gone for he's not really started going for gas, or at least looking at gas or anything, I'd probably see a 3 hatch play, something like that. Something relatively economical here, because he's not looking to get gas to get the early speed out, so it's usually an economical build there out of Zerg players. Meanwhile, up in Dipwood's base, our beautiful blue here is getting out his Cybernex core. He's mining some gas. He's going to be getting Warp Gate before long, and we might be seeing a second base. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see what he decides to do after this Cybernex core here. We might see some sort of gateway pressure, something like that. And we're actually going to be seeing a probe moving down there now. Come on, let's see. Have I predicted it? Yes, it is. We're going to see the Nexus coming down here for dipwood in his second base at the natural. So it does look like we'll be seeing some sort of macro build out of both players here. No need for Chiz. The Chiz is off today. And are you there to build a proxy pylon? We shall see. We shall see. Meanwhile, Listerina's having a good look around. He's forgotten that this map's actually cross position only, so he's sending overlords all over the place. And that's going to be spotted here. We're going to see that. We're going to see the second base down. So he knows his opponent's going for a second base, so he knows that he's pretty safe to continue macroing for now. Meanwhile, obviously, dipwood hasn't actually seen his... No, he's seen the second base out of his opponent there. So he should know... He's not been up to the main, but he's seen the second base, so he should know that he could, there is some sort of macro play going on from the Zerg. I mean, the thing with Zerg players is, even if they get a second base, you can often get all in with a bunch of banelings or something. So it's really difficult to call, to be honest. But with no gas down at all, I'd imagine we should be getting that third base out before too long. Or just, well, I don't really know. Beyond that, if he's not going to get that gas down anytime soon. Meanwhile, we're getting another gateway out for Listerina here. We get 2 more gateways, sorry. So it looks like we're getting a 3-gate after the Nexus expansion there. So that's very good. And the little Lings wandering around here for Listerina. He was checking out his opponent there. I'm not sure what he's seen at the front of his opponent's base. He's seen the extra gateway in the expansion, so not too much going on there to worry about, really. He just wants to continue macroing, getting all his stuff out, and hopefully be getting his economy up and running, ready for some bigger later game brawls, which seems to be very, very popular among Zerg players now. No one really likes the early game stuff quite as much anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong, Chiz is popular and fun, but Zergs love to macro. What can I say? I mean, it's the done thing. Now we're seeing quite a chunk of gas here being mined out with our Protoss player. He's now chrono boosting out Warp Gate there, so we should be seeing maybe some troops coming out from him before too long. Maybe if he's bothering to chrono boost that out as opposed to the probes there, he's going to continue macroing up, getting down as many probes as he possibly can. and generally see what's going on. So we're going to open up the front here. I think he's going to try and come and have a little poke at these lings. We might see, yeah, we'll see one die, maybe two, possibly, not quite, no. And with the sentry out now as well, dipwood should be pretty safe from run-bys here. Nothing too much to worry about. Now, we've actually got the third base down here for Listerina. Has dipwood seen this? Not yet, no. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. He's sending his probe round here, though. See what he does here. We get a proxy pylon down straight away there. So, yeah, I think we'll be seeing some pressure here out of dipwood. Now, actually, he's going to find that third base of Listerina, so he knows that at this stage of the game, it's the third base down, and like obviously his opponent isn't really doing much in the way of in the way of much else. There isn't actually two gases down now. What's he doing? He's got three gases. He's getting his there. So it looks like, yeah, we're going straight into the layer tech there. We're getting the link speed out as well. So to be honest, at this point with Listerina going for the tech and going for the kind of less in the way of troops, more in the way of economy, this is a really good time for dipwood to put on some pressure and maybe even take out this base here. And actually, to be honest, if he waits until this is finished up, there really isn't anything out on the map at this stage for Listerina. I mean, he's building 5 roaches now, but they're not going to be ready in time. So he's actually going to really struggle to defend against this if dipwood decides to move in with these zealots and kill this after it's finished. And now that the base is finished up, there's absolutely nothing Listerina can do about stopping that. And actually, dipwood's timed this perfectly, coming in just as the base finishes up, and he will be able to completely take this down. I can't see how he can possibly stop this. Meanwhile, the lings are on the other side of the map, taking out proxy pylon. And yeah, this is bad news for Listerina, really. He needs to be ahead on bases, really, if he's going to be in a good position to continue the game. So with that falling there like that, that's really not very nice there for Listerina. Although actually dipwood is now supply blocked by that proxy pylon falling down, so he's going to need to sort that out. But with that in mind, dipwood is nicely ahead in the in terms of economy now, as obviously Listerina's third base has fallen. That really puts him behind, just because he can't continue to macro up into that. He's either got to build a bunch of troops or try and reevaluate his plan and maybe get a third base up again. Now we've got a little force of roaches out there. We did see the mass recall back there. I think he might have had 100 gas on. Yeah, he had 100 gas on his mothership course. It was worth doing. I mean, he could have probably just ran away, but when it's that easy, you might as well get in, do some damage, get the hell out, all good. So with that, we're going to be seeing the first of the Protoss upgrades coming out. It's going to be getting ground weapons level 1. We're also seeing the Zerg missile attacks upgrades. So I'd imagine we'll be seeing some Hydras maybe. We've got the roaches. We're getting the roach speed down, and also burrow as well. So I think we'll probably see a roach Hydra type thing. Although with the spire out as well, maybe we'll see some mutalisks. We'll have to wait and see really, because it's a bit funny to go for Roach Hydra and Mutalisks, but just because you need quite a lot of gas for the Roach Hydra, because they're all gas units. Well, why not? You know, if you can afford all that, if you can get the third base down, get all the 6 gases up, you can really start getting all that out. So perhaps it's not too bad. Now, meanwhile, dipwood's getting his third base up. He's looking pretty good in that respect. This should be perfectly defendable as well. I mean, he's only got a small force here at the front, but frankly, the Zerg doesn't have much else either. And with these, there should be some additional gateways before long. We've got a 4th gate down, we've got the robotics facility down as well, with the mortals coming out, and we're also getting a Stargate down now. So we're just getting a little bit of everything here, really, for dipwood, really. Well, it looks like we're seeing quite a mixed bag composition here coming out for him. I'd quite like to see another gateway or so coming out. He's floating a little bit much gas, and the same with the Zerg player, really. He's got a lot of resources out, really, which isn't really ideal for him. Now, what have we seen in each other's bases? If we just have a little look around. Is Listerina? No, he's not aware of that third base, but obviously he's seen the second and has actually seen the robotics there, although he didn't see the Stargate, so he's not going to be aware of that coming. So he needs to be on his toes a little bit, maybe try and get an overlord or something in for a little scout. There's not actually really that much defending here, so he could very much do that. Meanwhile, dipwood's moved down the bottom corner of the map, and he looks like he will be putting some pressure on this third base here, which he's fully aware of, so that's going to pretty much straight up fall unless Listerina can get into position quickly enough. And let's have a look what happens here. So with a big line of force fields across there, yeah, we're not going to see Listerina's troops engage properly, and it looks like this base is just going to straight up fall if we can, if dipwood can just pressure it. There we go, and that's going to be falling down. We're going to see everything just recalled out. Excellent. Beautiful attack there by dipwood as he comes in, clears up the third base once again of Listerina, and is able to keep the Zerg player down on 2 bases there. That was really nice play. I like that. Just get in, do a bit of damage as quickly as possible, and get the hell out of there. Meanwhile, we're seeing the 2 attack upgrades coming out of our Zerg player Listerina. We've not got anything more in the way of upgrades coming out of dipwood yet. He's sort of sitting back a little. But there we are, the 2 attack upgrade coming now. So with that, we're going to be seeing more Hydras as well coming out of Listerina. We're seeing the Stalkers coming out of dipwood. So I think we'll be seeing a sort of mixed gateway unit composition with Immortals behind that, and obviously the Mothership Core on top. Now, if we just have a look around, getting more gateways down, 2 more there, all very good. Meanwhile, Listerina's getting his third up again for the 3rd time. I don't really like this position for a third base. I generally would prefer it around here. as I think Listerina probably stands a better chance of defending it there. He's already got a pretty decent creep connection where he's not actually bothered to spread creep down this section yet, which is something that you could probably be doing while this base comes up now, as this thing's desperately waiting for the creep connection to come together. We're also starting to miss our injects now, really, so I'd quite like to see him back on top of that. But no, he's got his macro hatch out, he's covering for it, you know, he's got his spire down, which he hasn't actually made use of yet. So we'll have to wait and see. He's got a massively sort of mostly Hydra's composition with a few roaches down as well. So this is basically a high DPS, low health type of composition generally. You can do a few more roaches really to come and soak up the damage if you can just park them in front of his Hydras. They get the extra range, which is actually just finishing there with the he's now on 2-0 upgrades here, which is 1-0 as well for Protoss. So actually Listerina is ahead on the attack upgrades now, so if you can move in and do something about that. Meanwhile, we're seeing the Templar Archives come down, and also a Dark Shrine here for dipwood. So we should be seeing a whole load of different Templars coming out before too long. And that would be, to be honest, a really nice thing to see, to be honest, because obviously DTs are great. You can use them for all sorts of harassment pressure. With this huge engagement going down here, we're seeing nice force fields across the front there. We're going to be seeing a lot of the Zerg army down, but I think there might be just slightly too many Hydras here, putting out way too much damage for these few units that are that dipwood has. And it looks like most of these will be falling there now, as we're not actually seeing anything too much in the main base. Listerine didn't decide to go on there, and it looks like he will actually be pulling back there away from this army as both players. There's quite a chunk of their army there, although I'm not really sure who came off worse. I feel Listerina might have come out slightly better in that engagement. He took down the Mothership Core and a good chunk of the army, whereas he can replace his troops a bit more easily. And he did actually have a better upgrade. Although actually we're seeing a little bit of engagement there now. There is the last of, I think it was Zealots just getting eaten up there at the bottom end of the map. Meanwhile, we're seeing all the Zerglings come running out again, so it looks like we're seeing some sort of pressure once more. This front is actually startlingly open here now. It would be really nice if we saw this army just move straight up here and engage up here instead of coming into this army there. And then obviously, once you're in through there, you can sit and defend behind the Protoss' buildings if you so need, or even take it right to the high ground. With a huge run by coming in here in the main here, we're going to see the Lings going into the main, and the rest of the army moving back to come and engage this Protoss army, which it kind of is good because it obviously means that the Zerg players' army is going to be doing a lot of damage to dipwood there, but with this many troops down, it's going to be a bit of an issue really for Listerine to get through all this, as all his roaches fall pretty much straight away to the Immortal, and with the Archons behind that as well, and all the Phoenixes picking everything up there. It's really not too much going on there. Meanwhile, in the main, we're seeing quite a lot of probe style. All the cannons went down, and we're seeing a bunch of Lings still wandering around, but they're going to burrow out of the way. Although we've got vision there. Not sure how they could see that thing. Where's the video? Oh, there's the observer. So yeah, with that going on, it's all looking very nice. We're getting another observer out here. We're actually going to chrono boosting that out. We're going to see more Phoenixes coming out for dipwood here as he looks to continue expanding his air army. Phoenix is just great for picking up the key units, and also just really good for scouting information. You can fly all over the place. They're really, really fast, and if our Zerg player does decide to go air, which is really, really common, which actually, to be honest, at this point, it's a bit interesting he hasn't decided to do that. He's getting the 1 attacks upgrade for his air units, but he's not moving into air at all. He's just continuing to get his ground forces out. He's getting, the ground carapace 1. He's getting his speed upgrade for his Hydralisks. We're getting out the just more Hydralisks and Roaches, really. So we're seeing a continuation of the ground down here. As fucking 6 DDs decided to move into the third base here of Listerina. And this is going to fall long, long before we can see any sort of overseers get over there now. And while they do pop out just a little bit too late there to kill off all the DTs, that's a real shame as the third base once again falls. Meanwhile, we're seeing a fourth base up for Listerina at the bottom corner there. And he's having a bit of a mare here, to be honest, Listerina, as he's really, really struggling to get this this third base up and running, which is so, so important, especially when your Protoss opponent's actually going for a fourth base now and has had this third base up and mining for the longest period of time. He's actually almost mined out his main. His second's starting to look a little bit dry, and the third, well, it's pretty thick with drones still, but hasn't been out quite as long. Could probably do with using up some of the chrono boosts here. That'd be nice. But other than that, I feel like dipwood really is playing this game to his strengths at the moment. I mean, against this sort of composition, I'd like to see a little bit more AOE, perhaps some Colossi out, maybe a few more Archons, maybe some more Storms going down. But until we get that sort of build out, I think we've got Storm finished now for the upgrades there. So we should be seeing some big Storms coming down soon. But with this army just pressuring at the front and not really any engagement coming down, there's a single Storm in the middle there, but he was able to move back. And is that going to? That's a big Storm in there. Second and third big Storm. Well, actually quite nice splits out of Listerine there. He wasn't able to pull most of his troops out of the way of the Storms, and only lost a bare minimum amount really as he could. And now Listerine will be pushing up this front ramp here. It does look like he really continue to move in. He's going to take out this gateway perhaps. Meanwhile dipwood's moving back on the forwards, trying to get the troops to deal with this and warping in a few DTs as he spotted that. In fact, Listerine doesn't actually have any sort of vision in this army at all. So those DTs will be able to do a whole bunch of damage here for this army. Although it does look like the second base here of dipwood will be falling under the weight of this army. Is it going to do that? No, not quite. He's chosen to pull out, and it actually looks like most of this will be getting chased away by the DTs and the remnants of dipwood's army, who's actually massively behind on supply now. It's a little bit of a shock in that respect. Although I think it's partially to do with the roaches of Listerina, which is so expensive on supply, with 2 supply each, and with 30 of them out, it's 60 supplies worth of roaches is quite a lot to have on the map. Whereas obviously dipwood's got basically nothing for an army at the moment. 2 immortals, 5 stalkers, 5 dark templars, and well, 5 phoenixes. He's starting to warp in some high templars as well, but we're going to need a lot more of those really to see the amount of AoE that was needed to get through this sort of army really. And he's still not really looking colossi either, which would be good. But if he can get enough storms out and perhaps enough archons, it shouldn't matter too much. As Listerina once again comes up with the engagement, he still doesn't have any vision down, which means the DTs are just going to be able to freely do as much damage as they want. And here comes the overseers now at the back, so they're going to actually just straight up fall if they get caught. Meanwhile, the High Templars are still building up energy, waiting to get the storms on again. Nearly got 75 again. There we go. So we should be seeing some large storms down again on right on top of Listerina's army here before too long. That'd be really nice. And there we are. That was straight on top, but still. You need more of that really, because we're only really knocking them out low health, and with Zerg units naturally healing, it's sort of the longer you wait between storms, the more advantage you're giving the Zerg player there. So I would like to see a lot more AoE out of dipwood here, as Listerina's so continuously intent on staying on this this kind of ground army. It's although to be fair, when you can't get up a third base, it's quite difficult. And huge storms coming down there. That's much better as the many of the Zerg troops die there. Most of this will be getting wiped out, although it does actually look like dipwood might have his forces cleared up here by Listerina really. It's not looking quite so good. And I'm not actually sure what dipwood's going to do about this at this stage. I mean, he's got an immortal down, but with Listerina pressuring so hard, and like there's a few DTs down, which well, actually, that would actually be able to clear that up, because there isn't actually any further vision there for Listerina, as his overseers were killed by the phoenixes, and that would have been the end of that little assault there. To be honest, it would be nice if he'd come and maybe pressured this base for a bit, or just generally try to make a little bit more the advantage that he's got of actually having units, whereas dipwood really doesn't at the moment. He's still getting his forces together at the front. We've got 2 immortals down now, some more high templars and dark templars. We've got 2 archons out as well. Generally, I just want to see more AoE if Listerina is going to be so intent on sitting on this ground army now. He's not taken this third again, though still he's just still sitting down here on this one. He's actually taken this as a 4th now as well, so Listerina is looking pretty good as economy. He's now going for the infestation pit, so we should be seeing some 3rd tier hive tech out before too long. If we've got the upgrades, yeah, we've got the 1-2 upgrades out for our Zerg player in obviously the shooty attacks as opposed to the ranged attacks, as opposed to the melee attacks. But we'll have to wait and see if he moves any further into that. Meanwhile, I think dipwood, he lost his forge there, so it might be that he's behind on upgrades. If we just have a little look and come and find his army, he's going to be taking a 5th base now. That's quite greedy of dipwood there. I mean, as much as I like to see it, it's he's not really finished droning up the other base yet, and it's kind of it's good, and it's a good thing to be doing for his future. But I think he might struggle to hold this if Listerina can get his forces together and move out. Although actually both players have equalled up on supply now because of Listerina's extended problems with getting a 3rd base up, so that's been quite good there. I would like to see more in the way of creep connections going on really. We've got some wasted creep tumors here just sort of sitting there not really doing anything. He's actually trying to get a 6th base up now as well, is our friend Listerina here, so he's doing pretty good. We're going to see the infestors coming out as well behind this, so not actually going to be seeing hive tech anytime soon it seems, but oh, there we go. He says as hive tech starts, yeah, so we're going to be seeing that out now. Still nothing much in the way of mutants. I think I saw 1 earlier, but I'm guessing that was a misclick, as it hasn't actually been used at all. We're actually going to see the 2 ground carapace upgrade at long last. So maybe we're seeing Protoss ground level 3 coming out, so we're going to see a lot of damage out of our Protoss player, but he hasn't actually, I don't think he's bothered to get the 2 upgrade. If we're just going to find the, not the Twilight Council, it's the Forge we're after. Where are we? Come here, Mr. Forge. Where are you? There you are. Yeah, so we're going to be seeing the level 3 upgrade before he actually gets the first armor upgrade. So a very aggressive type of upgrades from dipwood here, as he seeks to do as much damage as possible without too much concern for the health of his troops. Now, I don't think a DT can out DPS a spine crawl, not quite. Meanwhile, the other DT is going to be heading up into Listerina's 5th base to, well, not actually be able to kill it, as I think the Overseers shouldn't be too far away yet. The whole Zerg army's come across, though, so it's actually a really, really big gap open over here at the moment, so it would have been nice to see dipwood do something else behind that, but with the DTB taken down, that's the end of that little bit of pressure here, as both players are now trying to get towards 200 supply, and they'll be having some sort of engagement before too long now. So if we just have a look at the compositions here, Listerina has, dipwood has in his army, he's got a whole load of High Templar. This is more like it. This is the sort of AoE that we need to see if we're going to be getting through this huge Zerg ground force. We've got 2 Archons down to soak up damage with the ground forces of the Zealots. We haven't actually, have we got charge out yet? Yes, he does have charge now. That's a good thing. It's a lot of the problem he was having earlier was that the units weren't getting into combat before they were being melted by the High Templars, so that was kind of an issue there. So we're going to see some huge storms here. The Zerg army moves right forward into the storms there, and that's going to be killing off most of the Zerg army. We have got some fungals coming down here for Listerina, but Zipwood's storms are absolutely ruining Listerina's army. And with this engagement here, we're just seeing everything Listerina had fall, and that's half the supply now for Listerina as he tries to move to build 18 more Hydralisks, and it does look like this base will be falling here, as there isn't really that much that Listerina can do until these Hydralisks spawn. He doesn't have any of the units down. He's got two Zerglings on the map. That's it. As this 4th base will be coming down now for Listerina, and he's actually going to be quite struggling here, especially as a lot of these Hydras are just going to come out right underneath this Protoss army with absolutely nothing else here. They're just going to melt straight away as the drones there go down as well. And it's difficult to see now what Listerina's going to be able to do. His supplies falling, and he's out of the game. So yeah, I mean, that was a good little game. I quite liked dipwood's pressure. Constantly, he was keeping down the 3rd bases of Listerina all the time, making sure that Listerina couldn't get too far ahead in economy. And then even when Listerina did start getting ahead in economy, he changed his tactics slightly. Dipwood changed his tactics slightly, got out the AoE he needed, and was able to storm down the troops of Listerina into oblivion. Meanwhile, obviously, Listerina wasn't quite able to get the grouping together that you needed. I'd like to have seen much more in the way of Mutalisks or something coming out. I mean, he had a lot of gas there for a lot of the game, and didn't choose to use it, although actually if you look at our Protoss player, he's pulling quite a lot of minerals and gas at the moment as well, so maybe he could have had more in the way of upgrades really. If we just have a little glance around, I think he never actually got one defensive upgrade, so it was just pure assault, pure we're going to kill stuff as quickly as possible. And, well, it worked for him. So, GG to both players. I've been RedRipz, your Dreadlock caster, here again on Star Station. And it was, as I say, CasualCraft 27 we're on now. So, yeah, as I say, I might try and do something special for episode 30, another free-for-all, something along those lines. So, yeah, well, thanks once again to both players. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all the usual banter. I'll be back tomorrow for another game. And GG, well played to both players. Thank you.